Hey now, everybody. It's the Rob from 106.1 Kiss FM here with my tag team partner in podcasting, the Taskmaster, Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jer.
Not to be confused with the Ringmaster.
That'll be a gimmick for you one day. Good morning, bud.
Good morning. Are we ready to rock and roll? Last night, I'll start by telling you that I did something that I've never done before. Ever.
Boy, you've done everything at once, I thought.
At least. I watched 205 Live.
I've done that once, but I only did it on the premiere episode. And I will say this. Since then, I did something I never did last night, and that was consider watching 205 Live. I
feel like it's hard to argue with the Enzo experiment, at least working in the short term for 205 Live. His shoot on all of those wrestlers, it's true. He's made it relevant.
Yeah, I watched the segment on Monday night last night, and boy, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
That really made Raw go up a whole lot of points in my book, combined with your reenactment of the Miz Taraj reenacting the Shield, and that segment. I mean, admittedly, there wasn't a whole lot of greatness outside of those things. There was Miz TV. There was actually Mickie James delivered the goods, I thought, on Monday too. But really not a whole lot, not for a 3-hour show. SmackDown was also pretty focused, in my opinion. But I do want to say, having now sat and watched the Enzo segment from Raw, where he is also like, I like when, like, not only is he kind of acting heelish, but he's dressed in all black now. He's got like a different look about him, a different demeanor. Like, you're right. I mean, it was a full-blown heel turn, and it seemed like really a double turn for both him and Neville.
And it just continued last night on 205 Live. The only thing that's even remotely like face-ish still about Enzo is when he's coming out and doing his "My name is Enzo" more. When he's doing that, he stops and he stops at the kids that are wearing the Enzo hair or have on certified G stuff, and he gives the kids a little pop. But then he goes into the ring and he's a heel. I mean, he's just a total jerk.
I'm curious as to how his reaction was too. Was it heel or face reaction? It
was a little bit of both.
Yeah.
You can hear like when the music starts, you hear some boos, but you still hear those high pitched screams because kids like my son still think Enzo is the bomb.
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit of time because of how over he was, especially with the women and children. And and the guys and the NXT. I mean, he covered everybody. It's just a shame.
The best thing is, that clause that kept people from being able to touch him or they'd lose their title opportunity. Well, he's using that now because at the end of Raw, where you didn't see it, it was a WWE.com exclusive. Braun Strowman came out and killed him. And
Steve shared that on the post show.
Yeah, thanks to Steve for that. And then so he shares that, and then every member of 205 Live took turns beating on Enzo, which I thought was a little weird. And then last night he said, and now I don't have to defend the title. He said they all violated the clause. It's great. He's going to be this guy everyone wants to see get beat up and lose the title, and he's just going to hold it. I feel like he is a modern-day honky-tonk, man. Here it comes.
I was going to say earlier when I was talking about how he reaches everybody, the women, the children, the NXT audience, like everyone likes him from a viewer's perspective. It's a shame he couldn't get his act together in the back, and everyone seems to hate him.
I feel like it's got to be turning around in the back. I feel like this push here wouldn't be happening if everyone really hated him. I feel like he's probably not out. I don't think he's out of the doghouse, but maybe he's really working on it. I
don't think that the push, which is a weird word because everyone was calling it a demotion earlier. I was kind of I was calling it. I was trying to be optimistic by saying it has the potential to be a push. Which I think, at least as of right now, seems to be the way it played out. Agree?
You're looking right. I thought that today. I said that to you earlier. I feel like you're coming out of this looking super correct because I thought it was a demotion. I said Enzo was donezo, and you said there's been no real change. He's still on Raw, and now he's on 205 Live, And now that he's not getting beat up all the time, or he does, but he's still the champ, you're right. He's more prevalent than he was.
He's in a better spot right now than he was a month ago, by far.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely,
that makes me happy. I don't want to see him get demoted or go away. Or, I mean, listen, if he's hated in the locker room, that's part of their deal. That's why they make the big bucks, to deal with people like Enzo.
There was like a little "you deserve it" chant for him in the beginning of 205 Live.
That's pushing it.
Yeah, I think so too. So there was like that little thing happened, and at the end of 205 Live, if you don't mind me spoiling,
please. I might watch it though, but go ahead.
Neville had a match, and Enzo was out for it, but Enzo was on crutches all night because he'd been beaten up.
Yeah.
Enzo slides into the ring when Neville's about to cover him, and he all of a sudden doesn't need the crutches and starts pounding on Neville with the crutches, and he starts chanting, "You deserve it. You deserve it. Huh?" And he's yelling at the crowd, and the crowd starts booing him like crazy, and he's now yelling at the crowd and beating Neville with the crutch. And I was like, holy smokes, full-blown Enzo heel turn. What happens when Cass comes back and they're both bad guys?
I'm not sure how. I mean, Cass is going to be far away from the cruiserweight division.
Yeah. I think it's good. I think that's great.
Well, we're here to talk about SmackDown, and I'm glad that you did catch me up on that, because that sounds awesome.
It's compelling. It's compelling.
Yeah.
The rest of 205 Live sucked.
So if I'm gonna watch that, is that the end of 205 Live? I'm assuming
the beginning, and then the end.
Okay, cool. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you. Let's talk about SmackDown. I watched SmackDown. SmackDown, if I had to describe, I wouldn't call it good or bad. I would just say SmackDown was focused. And when I say focused, what I mean by that is everything had a reason. Everything went somewhere. There was no wasted matches. Like, well, on Raw, you get a lot of wasted time, I feel like, just because they have so much time to fill. As we're 2 weeks away from Hell in a Cell, I felt like everything last night served a bigger purpose, and that's a positive thing. That's a good quality.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with your description. I think that it's focused. I thought it was solid. There were some things that I don't know. Like, I just wish I wish I could have booked it. I would have booked it a little bit better, or done things a little different. Like the Dolph Ziggler thing. I
was happy about that, but go ahead with how you would have improved it, I guess.
I would have given the payoff last week, because this week it was just too much and too much. And here's the proof that it was too much. The Undertaker bell chimes, and it didn't fool anybody.
Nadia, I got to tell you, it didn't fool me even for a moment. And
didn't fool me for a moment, but I thought it was going to fool some people in the crowd.
I was glad the announcers, I thought for sure they'd be playing dumb, but they could tell that the audience wasn't buying it, and they changed course, and they were like, I don't think this is Undertaker or whatever. You know, they kind of...
Tom Phillips was playing dumb the longest, and finally Corey Graves was like, that's not the Undertaker. Yeah. Don't be stupid.
Let me tell you how I would have changed it. So what did you say you would have done? You would have done this last week, did you say?
I would have done it last week, and I would have ended it by having him mock Bobby Roode's entrance.
That's what I was going to say. What I would have done is have Dolph last week mock Bobby Roode, and Bobby Roode doesn't come out, and then you do Undertaker or whatever this week, and Bobby Roode comes out. So that's what I would have done. That last week they should have done the Roode Glorious parody.
Right.
I also don't know, with the exception of that first week, like, so last week he did, like, it was Triple H, it was Shawn Michaels, and DX. And like the second week, it was like Ultimate Warrior and someone, like, maybe just that first week, do the multiple entrances. After that, just do one.
Sure. I feel like they were just playing with themselves at one point.
What do you mean?
I just felt like they liked it. They thought it was good. And so they were just trying to cram as many in as they wanted.
So I actually would say that was my favorite part of the show last night, because we've been kind of discussing, and we've been hungering for that payoff to happen. And I actually didn't think it was going to go to Roode. I'm glad that it did. It seemed logical to me that he'd have that. And they really only acknowledged it when Dolph was going elaborate entrance with smoke and mirrors. Check. you know, and it's like, you know, and eventually he got to ability in the ring to match mine. Not there yet, you know, like so they kind of acknowledge where the feud is coming from, and they got to Hell in the Cell, which is a good thing. Yeah, I just well, I had a thought, but yeah. So my other thing was, that's what I titled the show today was, you know, Bobby Roode confronts Dolph Ziggler dressed as Undertaker. I thought that was the biggest part of the show personally. Do you agree or disagree with that? I might be wrong.
What, that he looks good as the Undertaker?
No, was that the biggest part of the show last night? Was that worthy of giving that the episode name today?
No, I thought the biggest part was the Kevin Owens thing. I mean they had Kevin. They are making. They even said that Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon's the main event, even over the world title itself. And so I thought that that was probably the biggest part of the show and the most impactful. But I can see why you'd say it about Bobby Roode and Ziggler. It's funny. They really slow burnt a lot of these feuds for Hell in a Cell, but now we're 2 weeks out. They've got to start making the matches, and that's all they set out to do last night. And I thought it was good. I mean, they set up that match. They set up the New Day and the Usos inside Hell in a Cell.
Which for some reason I thought they already announced that, but maybe I was wrong.
I saw that announcement somewhere too. That may have been an accidente.
Maybe. I thought in one of the videos, they at least like on Raw or on No Mercy, I thought I saw them in a cell.
Right. And then Randy Orton and Rusev doesn't offend me. I kind of like having Aiden English sing for Rusev.
I agree. I like that. That came off well for me. The RKO out of nowhere always works for me.
You know, it's not looking like a bad pay-per-view. I'll tell you that.
No, it's not. They also signed AJ and Corbin last night officially, right?
That's good. I'm betting that's going to end up being a triple threat match
with Ty Dillinger.
Yeah, don't you think?
I don't know. I guess I haven't gotten that vibe, but you might be onto something. They only have 1 week to do it.
Yeah, but they've been using those three interchangeably the whole time. So
yeah,
so it wouldn't offend me if that's the way they went with it. And I also think that AJ Styles is going to lose the championship.
Oh, really?
I do, because I think they're going to get him into a program at some point with Jinder Mahal. I don't know. I'm just booking off the top of my head here.
Do you think the stipulation will be it's going to be AJ Styles versus Baron Corbin versus Ty Dillinger in a U.S. Open match? U.S. Open Challenge match or whatever. And
then John Cena shows up, and now he wins it again.
It's been the AJ Styles Open Challenge has been really weird in that it's never been open. We've always known going into the show who he's wrestling.
There's nothing open about it.
Yeah, exactly. It's been really strangely booked like that. I wanted to talk. You mentioned Jinder. Some praise and criticism for his promo last night. So something I liked was when he started addressing the controversy, because it did become a legit controversy in my understanding, how borderline racist, or maybe not even borderline racist, his promo the week before was.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. If you go back to the Attitude Era, that wouldn't even have moved the needle.
Oh, boy. I don't remember what the instance was that Bruce and Conrad were talking about, but they talked about something that was so blatantly racist from the Attitude Era that would never work now, and I just can't remember what it was for some reason.
There are so many things that wrestling got away with before that they couldn't get away with now. That time, the time the Ultimate Warrior was just kicking snakes across the room. You'd never be able to get away with that now with PETA.
Or a lot of the Gold Dust stuff. I remember them talking about, but I remember the most racist thing because I was watching like an Attitude Era DVD, and I saw some like bonus footage of DX invading New York City. And I forget what the Road Dogg said, but he said something about like Arab people that was just straight up racist. Like not even close, not even funny. It was just like, I don't even want to say what I remember it being.
Just racist. Just
straight racist.
No reason. Just here it is.
In like 2002 or so, like maybe 2003, on TV, on SmackDown, Vince used the N-word. Do you know that?
Booker T. I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, he did it talking about Booker T. I think.
Well, I was referencing the Booker T. Hulk Hogan one.
That was an accident, at least. This was written for Vince, and he used it.
Oh, my God.
Being totally serious. You never know.
Coming up next week on Sunday Night Heat, we're going to burn some crosses. We're just gonna burn crosses.
Well, and the Goldust thing, to kind of go along with what I was saying, like, his character was heel because he was gay, and that was kind of all the validation you needed for him to be a heel, was just that, you know, he's gay, so we don't like him, was the mentality back then. But I mean, as you and I grew up in that time, I mean, the world was different then. You know, and I don't know that it justifies it, but that's what Bruce and Conrad were saying. And as people who grew up in it, I can understand what they're saying. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And Jinder Mahal stepped in it last week. You know, he tried something, and I don't know if it was written for him or if he ad-libbed that one or not, but he had a little heat for it, not a ton of heat. But
yeah, to get back to my point, though, I was really concerned, especially when he started referencing it, that he or someone was going to apologize for it. And I didn't want that. And they didn't do it. And my thing is just like, it was a character trait. Like, there are so many other forms of media where you have normal actors who aren't racist playing racist characters. Like,
right.
Like, I don't know, American History X comes to mind first with, what's his name? Ed Norton. And he's not racist in real life, but he portrayed a racist on screen. And you don't need to apologize for that. And the corporate office made a statement at WWE saying that you know, that it was a character trait of a character that he made a racist comment. And that's okay. It's fiction. You're allowed to do that, I feel like. And I don't want people to apologize for it. I don't want American History X apologizing for it, or any other TV show. I mean, like, Al Pacino isn't a cocaine dealer. He's not going to apologize for portraying Scarface. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to do fiction and to be edgy and offensive and that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's funny. From the same people that take zero time to tell you and remind us every time. Non-wrestling fans will always remind us how fake it is. It's fake. It's fake. It's not real. It's just a show. It's not a sport. It's just real. It's just fake. It's just a show. And then something like that happens, and they're like, "What in the world? How can you say something like that? How can you be that kind of a person?" If you want to say they're fake and they're actors and they're not athletes, then let them be actors, you dummy.
Yeah, well, they're certainly actors. They're also athletes.
They're all actors except for Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan is not an actor. Daniel Bryan can't act.
But I mean, like, they do things that contradict that their real personalities wouldn't do.
No, absolutely. They're characters. Of course they are.
So
it's not fake.
You know, so I'm glad that he didn't apologize and that nobody apologized for a segment that didn't need apologizing. Like, that's another, even in radio, you get that all the time with, like, people over apologizing, or, you know, you get a Facebook message and the station needs to apologize. Like, just like, you don't always need to apologize is my thought. So I'm glad that he didn't. However, he went into another promo that really just felt like more of the same as the previous 3 weeks. I thought that the segment where you goof on the way he looks, Shinsuke Nakamura looks, and his facial expressions, and like, that was great. Do it once. And now we're like 3 or 4 weeks in, and I'm like not laughing anymore.
Do it once, or you do it twice, and at the end of the second one, you do what you did last night, where it looks like a still, and then all of a sudden he's moving, and he's
that was cool. Yeah, no, you know what, dude? Now you're reminding me that did have a payoff. You're absolutely right. So you know what? Maybe I'm in the wrong when I say that. And also,
well, I think it just could be done sooner, like the Dolph Ziggler stuff. Like, I feel like they burn it a week longer than it should. It was overcooked.
Yeah, and you know what? It's funny coming from us because we keep saying slow it down, and now it's like, don't slow it down so much. I did like that. I wanted to mention that. I kind of forgot about it, but you're right. When they went to the final still, and then I remember we were watching dinner when it was, or eating dinner when it was on, and Brittany was like, "That was not a picture," and I was like, "Boy, you're right. That was cool." I thought. And then I think we disagree on this, because I think last week you made a comment about this, and I want to disagree with you if I didn't last week. I think it's hysterical when the Bollywood boys die laughing at something dumb that Jinder says?
I don't. I just don't. I do and I don't. Like, I get it, but it's like it's almost too much.
Oh, but they're like the Stooges for Jinder, and I don't know. That doesn't bother me. I don't know how I commented on it last week, but I want to be firmly in the camp of because it's so over the top. It works for me.
I will let them do whatever they want as long as they're out there for his matches, so they can take giant bumps.
Yeah, or slide through a cage and just destroy all sense of realism.
Oh, that match was forgettable.
Well, you know.
You know.
Dude. We have to do it at least once.
Double cheese, double mayo, extra onion, mother. God damn.
All right. So, did anything else happen on SmackDown we need to be talking about? I'm trying to think. Well, we know we haven't covered Owens and Shane, really.
Yeah, and that's their money. That's their big stuff. You know,
had a problem with the execution of one thing. Well, but it was a few mistakes that made it wrong to me.
Was it at the end? Like, I liked the beginning, and I thought bringing out Sami Zayn was okay, and explaining that I've known you forever, and you've snapped and you've lost your mind. And
that didn't bother me. And also, they did something funny regarding that, because I think that one of the complaints about their feud is how many times we've seen it, which, if you think about it, really isn't that many times. And it's never been like a drawn out feud, even though we know throughout time they've had one. Like, I don't feel like I'm burnt on that when I see it once every 9 months.
Yeah.
But they really jammed down our throat. This is the first time we've ever seen this match, ... on SmackDown. So, but I'm not burnt on that.
Owens and Zayn, they were saying that?
Yes, they said numerous times, this is the first time we've seen this match on SmackDown.
Yeah, so we've seen it 30 other times.
Yeah,
so.
but like I was saying, I don't know. I thought you agree with me. Maybe you didn't catch all I was saying, but because they've never really on the main roster had like a full on program together, I don't get that rematch vibe from this feud. You see them wrestle like once every 9 months. It
doesn't bother me. No, and I know it doesn't bother you. I think it's kind of cool that Sam. You just hope that Sami Zayn gets to be huge at some point, and so does Kevin Owens, because then you have this. They've always been feuding, and they've always been fighting in different promotions, and here at the WWE, and you want it to be kind of like a Triple H and Rock, that they both skyrocket to the top, and every once in a while they collide, but they're still headed up no matter who they're dealing with. And then when they're both at the top, it means even more when they fight again.
I got to be honest. I think Kevin Owens has it. Sami Zayn is a great worker who I'm not convinced has it.
I would have to agree with you, because Kevin Owens is my favorite wrestler on SmackDown, and Sami Zayn isn't even on the list. So.
Yeah, and to me, with Sami, I think it's all in character, in charisma. It's that's where he's like, I don't like hearing him talk. I don't know what it is, but I don't mind when he wrestles. So
yeah, well, he's good. He puts on 5-star matches.
Here was the problem I had with the. Yes, I do. Here's the problem I had with the execution of the finish of the show, the Shane McMahon thing. So you had, when they went to their last commercial break, they randomly cut to a camera in the back that's just showing a closed door for a long period of time, and then Shane opens it and the crowd pops.
Yeah.
So the fact that Shane is not in the building yet, and then we just show, like, why would we cut to a closed door camera in the back with that when we don't know who's on the other side? Like, that doesn't make any sense from a production standpoint.
That's
right.
Impeccable timing.
So then Shane comes in the door, bursts through the metal detector, blows off the guard who's supposed to be scanning him, and is making a beeline to the ring. And
I know what you're going to say.
Then we cut to commercial. So then 4 minutes later, we come back from commercial. He's still not made his way to the ring yet. Like, so he's on this beeline, you know, like, got to get to Kevin and break this up or whatever the goal is. And like, we've already dilly-dallied for like almost 10 minutes. You know what I mean? I would have had the burst in the building after the commercial and just like 30 seconds before he appears in the ring. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it shouldn't take him that long to get there.
Right. Yeah. Why is it taking 10 minutes for him? Like I said, he's on a beeline. Like, he's blowing through the metal detectors. He's brushing off the guard who's trying to stop him. Like, I am on my way to the ring. And now we're going to commercial. It's been 10 minutes. That was my problem with the execution.
I think he legitimately got hurt there when I think that chair popped him in the mouth by accident.
Oh yeah, with Sammy.
Yeah,
that looked screwed up or something. You're right.
Yeah, it just cracked him right in the teeth, and he was doing this. I mean, it went from selling it to he can't stop touching it. There's something wrong with his mouth. He banged something up. I was like, ooh, we got another Cesaro situation.
Oh, and hey, before I close this up, I wanted to remind you of something else I meant to tell you on the whatever episode we were talking about, the Royal Rumble DVD that I have, the true story of the Royal Rumble, which I believe it was Chris chimed in on the post show and said that you can find that on YouTube, I guess. I don't know if it's legal or not, but I think Chris said that we could. They also go into a little bit of detail about another thing I know you love from the Royal Rumble in 2005 when Vince pulls both of his quads, walk into the ring.
Oh, you and I both love that.
Yeah, and I believe it was Benny corrected me. I always say hamstrings. I don't, whatever.
No, it's just quads. He blew his quads. So I started to watch that. It's on YouTube. But
oh, you did?
But it's an annoying YouTube video. It's like the whole screen is their background, and then they put it in the corner so no one can take it down for piracy or whatever.
Okay, so that might make it tough.
So it's kind of annoying that way. I'd like to find a better version of it. So I'm going to look around for that. But I found it. I just haven't watched it yet.
Okay. Yeah. Well, they get into that too. So the feature's only like an hour. So as someone who knows you pretty well, I feel like you might enjoy it. Is there anything you think we need to mention that we haven't yet?
No, I mean, we not only did a SmackDown review, but I accidentally gave you a 205 Live review. Sorry about that.
No, don't say accidentally. I want to know stuff like that. And if you watch next week, definitely do the same thing. I believe I'm going to go and watch at least the Enzo stuff from 205 Live because you got me interested. And
well, I'm glad. Tell me if this is stupid. I feel like even if I wasn't going to watch it, I wanted to click on it because I want the 205 numbers to go up so they keep this Enzo push going. I think they'll correlate the two.
Yeah, I like that this is injecting some personality into the roster that really needed it. Like I believe there's some sincere resentment toward Enzo in the Cruiserweight division because of Enzo's ability in the ring, but they need to realize that what Enzo lacks in ability in the ring, he's making up for all the other people's lack of charisma.
It's all about the microphone, baby.
That part about the royalty checks on Monday, I love where he's like, you can add up all of your royalty checks combined. They're not a fraction of mine. And he's right.
He's right.
You know?
That's what makes it a heel. It's like he's like, look what time it is. You didn't even sniff the main event.
You've never sniffed the 11 o'clock hour.
And he's right.
Yeah. No, it was awesome. So yeah, I'm gonna check that out. You check out the Royal Rumble DVD. I'll check out 205 Live, and I guess we'll be back on Tuesday with the Raw review because next week we've got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, because we're gonna do the Hell in a Cell predictions. Yeah, predictions will be Thursday. So thanks for your help today, man. Have a great rest of your day, everybody, and we'll chat with you later.